करिए आपकी क्लास।
हमारे वक्त की धड़कन, हमारा चिंतन, हमारी भावनाएं, हमारे विचार, कभी कोमल बातचीत तो कभी इंटरेक्शन तेज तर्रार। तय करें मिलकर व्हाट इज रॉन्ग, व्हाट इज राइट। ITV पर अशोक व्यास के साथ इनसाइट टुनाइट।
नमस्कार, मैं अशोक व्यास। कार्यक्रम का नाम इनसाइट टुनाइट विद अशोक व्यास। और क्रिसमस के शानदार त्योहार के बाद धीरे धीरे हॉलीडेज के मूड में जब हम नए बरस की तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं तो कुछ खबरें ऐसी हैं जिनको लेकर हम उत्साहित हो जाते हैं। कुछ खबरें ऐसी हैं जो हमारे साथ बनी रहती हैं कुछ चिंता के बादल लिए हुए। पर आज के कार्यक्रम में खास करके हम जिस खबर को लेकर खास चर्चा करने वाले हैं उसका संबंध एक सरप्राइज विजिट से है। हालांकि होता यह है कि जब 25 दिसंबर का दिन आता है तो हम सरप्राइज गिफ्ट की वेट करते हैं कि सैंटा क्लॉज क्या लेकर आए हैं इस बार। पर कुछ बातें इनोवेटिव अप्रोच के साथ यूं जुड़ जाती हैं या कुछ सीरीज ऑफ कोइंसिडेंसेस और series of sincere thinking leads to a potential meeting between Prime Minister of India and Prime Minister of Pakistan, and that too at Lahore. So the news about a new diplomatic efforts that were seen by the world on 25th December leading to a new chapter between the relationship of India and Pakistan. We'll be talking about that. We'll also extend our birthday greetings to the birthday boy today, who is Arun Jaitley ji, who turns 63. And actually 25th December was birthday of course Jesus, but Nawaz Sharif ji also, and that day happens to be the birthday of India's previous Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. We have lot of issues that we'll be touching, but first and foremost let me have the pleasure of welcoming our panelists who have consistently helped us learn about our world and think with us through what appears on the surface through newspapers. Let me have the pleasure of welcoming Vibhuti Jha ji, who is now in the advisory board of India.org.
India Redefined.
India Redefined.
Namaste.
Namaskar.
Thank you.
So probably we'll make that correction. India Redefined.org. And the gentleman who was very active with Congress and now Executive Director of South Asians for Empowerment, Jagjit Singh ji. Jagjit ji, swagat hai.
Namaskar.
So let's begin with you, Jagjit ji. And when you heard, most of us, if you are like me, we get our news through the mobile app of the news papers.
Yeah.
So when you read Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Pakistan, how was your immediate response?
See, immediately what I felt was it was something which was out of the box, something innovative. Because up till now, diplomacy, as I have been a student of international affairs and diplomacy was a subject during our classes. Diplomacy as we learnt it is something which changes from time to time with people innovating approaches. There is no hard and fast copybook style approach towards it. Things can be redefined all the time. And perhaps what Modi ji did was redefining that diplomatic approach towards Pakistan, which has been with which we had not had good relations for quite a long time since both the countries became independent. We have had 3 wars, and we do not have a cordial relationship with Pakistan per se. Even though Pakistan now being a democracy and India being the largest democracy, the relationship is not where it should be. But this approach, perhaps in my opinion, sidelines the irritants like the Hizbul Mujahideen and others who are basically irritants in between the relationships they will be sidelined for time to come. And a new approach will prove very beneficial both for India and Pakistan.
So this new approach, and was it spur of the moment that Prime Minister Narendra Modi called Nawaz Sharif ji from Afghanistan, and things led one to another, resulting into this visit? There has been a lot of discussions for right and wrong, both reasons. So just trying to understand your hunch, Vibhuti ji. Do you think it just happened, or it was already in the pipeline, and even before he went to Russia, he went to Afghanistan, probably this was in their mind?
I don't think this was just off the cuff event. It is not like when I was in Delhi, somebody will knock up, yaar aaj main coffee peene aa raha hu raat ko 9 baje 9:30 baje. This is not like that. This has to be a well thought out strategy. And if you recall, in this program here, when Mr. Modi was fighting the election in 2014, when asked this question by you and other panelists, that what makes Modi ji so unique, I had said that this man thinks differently. Now you call it out of the box or whatever, he is the man who means business when he does something. He's not just going with the bat and the ball and starts hitting all across the wicket. he's playing to a game, and which is what makes him very unique and very different. So I am 100% sure, in my opinion, that this was not off the cuff event, because your two prime ministers of controversial states are meeting together in a way that you are just dropping by, flying in, returning from Russia and Afghanistan. So there is a greater purpose, and my purpose here is, what I believe is, that Mr. Modi has shown to people of Pakistan, through the entire opposition, who have been telling that he is a hawk against Pakistan, he doesn't want friendship with Pakistan, that he is willing to take an unconventional options. He showed it to Pakistan and the people of Pakistan, where there was a lot of appreciation for his effort to have come there. He also displayed the classic Hindu culture of touching Mr. Sharif's mother's feet. So now these are very important events that happen. They were not accidental, the meeting was not accidental, but here Mr. Modi has shown that he's willing to walk an extra mile, and now it is for people of Pakistan to respond. Because as many opposition people will say and others will say that this was a canard or it was just a show, well, I'm 100% sure that Manishankar Iyer and Salman Khurshid, after what they did in Pakistan, asking for Pakistani help to remove Mr. Modi, they must be feeling like really very ill-informed, and must be digging their, putting their head in the sand, so to say. So the question is that he really upsets, creates new milestones of action, creates new approaches. He abandons precedences. Like you said, that he's innovative. Bureaucracy and Indian foreign policy has been mired in precedents of non-alignment. Now he is giving everything a different look. Now the ball is entirely in Pakistan's court, how they respond to this initiative. So the question is whether Pakistan will do another 26/11. Well, then in that case, Mr. Modi can tell the whole world that I go for peace and this is what they do. So who is having the upper hand here? And let's not even talk about upper hand, but he has strengthened the hand of Mr. Nawaz Sharif as a civilian prime minister in a country where army controls the shots, or the foreign policy. Everybody knows that. So Mr. Modi has given the people of Pakistan, through the elected representatives, a new opportunity to genuinely reach out to India and find authentic peace.
So now looking at the whole scenario, the environment was very cordial, and Pakistani media also mentions that Nawaz Sharif ji was so casual, relaxed, and he could also display his Punjabi humor. And of course, this was the occasion of the marriage of his granddaughter Mehrun Nisa. We have seen Prime Minister Narendra Modi hugging world leaders, and the same wonderful Jappi was also seen at the airport between these two leaders. Not only that, I think the kind of trust building which has taken place in this meeting between the two leaders has also been instrumental in laying foundation and a structure for the times to come in terms of both countries moving together with better communication. From that point of view, Jagjit ji, what do you see as the potential good that is likely to come out for both India and Pakistan from this meeting?
See, the basic thing which is required for any two countries to have cordial relationship is if the leaders of the countries gel together and see as mutual friends each other, then the relationship between the countries do develop, plans come in. This act of Modi ji, whether it was planned or spontaneous, is a matter of debate. But what I see is, even if it was spontaneous, it was a well thought of spontaneous activity. Because if you look at it, you know, when you go to a foreign nation, you go to meet a leader, gifts are exchanged. Modi ji was going to Russia and then he visited Kabul and then came to Pakistan. In spite of all that, gifts were there for Nawaz Sharif also. So it's not that, you know, it was, I would say, looking at the gift itself.
Which
And
was
you
a
don't,
pagdi.
and that pink
That
pagdi which he wore the next day as a sign of trustworthiness and love and affection, I would say, that indicates that yes, there was a planning, that he might stop or will stop or whatsoever it may be. But the kind of optics which we see coming out from Lahore and all the way, you know, Nawaz Sharif went along with him in the same car, they moved around in the same helicopter, which is usually not done keeping security risks in view. But all this shows that yes, these two leaders gel very good with each other and have a clear understanding, heart to heart relationship between each other. And once this thing happens, relationship between the two countries follows. And I see good relationship coming up.
So when good relationship comes up, we can probably look forward to a better and harmonious relationship resulting into peace. Peace that would bring a sense of relief for people across the line of control. And in this meeting, they also stressed the need and importance and commitment towards maintaining peace at LOC. इसके साथ साथ दोनों देशों के जो नेशनल सिक्योरिटी एडवाइजर्स हैं उन्होंने वैसे तो बहुत सामान्य सी बात है अपने ईमेल और फ़ोन नंबर मोबाइल नंबर एट्सेट्रा एक्सचेंज किए एंड हेड ऑफ द स्टेट्स मेंशन कैजुअली दैट देयर शुड बी ज़ीरो कम्युनिकेशन गैप. तो जब कम्युनिकेशन गैप नहीं है एंड देयर इज़ अ सेंस ऑफ ट्रस्ट दैट वन कैन कॉल in order to resolve issues that they may see posing threat for either side. I think that's a very good sign. But how opposition have reacted, we'll talk a little bit about that. And before I move towards Vibhuti, I want to share this clip, which is by a Congress leader who was here last month, and he was a minister in the cabinet of Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, Information and Broadcasting Minister for some time, Manish Tiwari, stated that the sum total achievement of the foreign policy of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been zero. And this is a clip of my conversation with Manish. Take a look.
Prime Minister Modi is not synonymous with India. India is much larger, and the strength of India is the diversity of its discourse. So, you know, this kind of a xenophobic idea that if at all you're critical of the government, you're being critical of India, I guess belongs to the past. The past, it's a completely medieval and a retrograde way of looking at things. The Indian democracy has matured over a period of time whereby we have now a healthy difference of opinion on every aspect of policy, social policy, foreign policy, domestic policy. And so therefore, if people, let's say, articulate a point of view in some remote part of Bihar, or possibly they do it in a remote part of the United States of America. In the 24/7 globalized discourse that you live in, it goes all over the world. So it hardly now matters as to where, in what part of the world do you say what.
Recently, in your probably this visit or earlier somewhere, you also made a comment that the total achievement of foreign diplomacy of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is zero, which in an intellectual setting might be right, but if you are saying it on a foreign land amongst foreigners, and does it create some impressions about India or no?
Well, the fact is that the sum total of his diplomacy is zero. And whether you say it in Delhi or you say it in New York, it does not take away from the fact that Prime Minister has really traveled outside 30 times in the past 18 months. And there are no takeaways from any visit, except for some meet and greets and chest thumping. You know, there is nothing really which has substantively come out of it. And the manner in which he's going about, you know, structuring his visits, he may actually be setting the Indian community up to be a very soft target for xenophobia. So you need to be very careful, given the kind of global environment that we are living in. And, you know, diaspora communities are extremely vulnerable. So therefore, I, for one, do not agree with the Prime Minister's approach to foreign policy. It is more theatrics and less of substance. Prime Minister Modi is not synonymous with India. India is much larger. And the strength.
So India is much larger. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is not synonymous with India. Nobody would probably disagree with that. But whether you agree that it is all drama, no substance as far as the approach of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's foreign policy is concerned.
I mean, any particular person who has seen Mr. Modi in action since his election, he would know that Mr. Manish Tiwari is speaking out of his mind. Because there is no substantive truth. On the contrary, it's a typical Congress philosophy of inciting fear. Now he's putting up the Indian community at risk for Mr. Modi's visits abroad. Now what kind of a divisive mind will ever say that Mr. Modi has been zero and that NRI community is being pitched, is at risk? This is the sad part of the mentality of the criticism that people heave on Mr. Modi. And the successes of the story, Mr. Modi's visit, is you know and I don't even want to repeat that, because the comments of Mr. Manish Tiwari doesn't merit a response, because it's puerile, fear-mongering, and blaming somebody. So when he says net effect of his foreign policy is zero, the issue arises here is that non-aligned movement in India was a flop. That was one of the classic reasons we became friends with nobody. We kept a distance with everybody. And in international relations, you are friends help friends. Friends don't help the non-aligned over a friend. So that is the myopic way of looking at the entire foreign policy approach. Mr. Modi has visited countries where no Congress leader had ever visited. Now these are breakthroughs. His very inauguration, inviting all the 7 SAARC members, neighboring countries, was a breakthrough. His visit to Russia, his visit to all the countries where he's talking about inviting more FDIs, it is marketing of India, which is required. We have been, for a very long time, we Indians have been quiet, docile. Chalta hai, chalta hota rahega. But that era is over. If you do not tell the world that you need something, money finds its own way. I mean, I recall in one of the institutions infrastructure meeting in Washington, D.C., where the Indian delegation told that we need $1.3 trillion, and they were told that not only India needs $1.3 trillion, but US alone needs $2 trillion to beef up its entire infrastructure and modernize it. Africa needs $1.6 trillion. Europe needs $1.4 trillion. South Asia, Southeast Asia needs $1.3 trillion. So all this money is required everywhere. Money will go to where it feels welcome. And that's the sign which Mr. Modi is giving by traveling from Australia, Japan to all the countries in the world. So it's a sad one to see Congress people behave so irresponsibly.
So whether Congress is behaving irresponsibly for others or for themselves also, so there has been news today related to publication of Congress mouthpiece, Congress Darshan in Maharashtra, where two articles have been very critical. One of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's approach towards China and some other areas including Kashmir. And there is one article which is quite critical of present President Sonia Gandhi, and probably the editor Sanjay Nirupam is shown the door in order to atone for what has happened, which has brought Congress to a very ridiculous state in terms of its image. But continuing with Indo-Pak relationship and Congress, Congress statements have brought critical response from some other quarters that includes PDP leaders who said that Congress is behaving irresponsibly. Surprisingly, some separatist leaders have shown some sort of favorable response to the meeting between Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and how in coming period, if this relationship moves as it appears today, Jagjit ji, how do you see the kind of importance which these separatist leaders in Jammu Kashmir and probably some leaders with similar approach in the Pak-occupied Kashmir had? Will they be sidelined? What is likely to be their role?
See, I feel they will be sidelined because on a normal corollary, if the two leaders gel together very well, their subordinates, which I mean the foreign secretaries of the two countries, the NSA chiefs, once they feel that the bosses need this done, they fall in line. So once the bureaucracy, the Ministry of External Affairs of both the countries fall in line, naturally everybody else would be sidelined if they talk something else. And that is a clear message which I think has come out of Modi ji's visit to Lahore. And all these Hizbul Mujahideen and Yasin Maliks, they'll be sidelined for all times to come. But regarding the other thing which you had pointed out, the Congress Voice as a magazine is a magazine called Congress Sandesh. This one which we are talking, which you spoke about particularly, this is a publication published out of Mumbai. It bears the Congress name Congress Darshan. The editor of this magazine is a gentleman called Sanjay Nirupam. He is a member of parliament. But the consulting editor, even though Sanjay Nirupam has taken the blame that because he was the chief, the consulting editor Sunil Joshi has been shown the door because of unsavory writings in that articles. That is the correct version.
Okay, very good. So what that article is, probably if there is a need, we'll talk more about that. But continuing with Pakistan and how when leaders are reacting from different parties, looks like they are looking at it from the prism of the kind of mindset which their party have. But what I find worth seeking your comment is the response of Shiv Sena. They have gone to the extent of saying that any leader, Indian leader who tries to build good relationship with Pakistan is not going to last long.
Now, Shiv Sena has a very checkered history in India. We all know that. It has a very strong anti-Pakistan platform. And that anti-Pakistan platform emerged during the Congress rule. So, and how did Shiv Sena gain national fame? Was as many years ago, there was a time when the Kashmir separatist and Islamic fundamentalists would not let the Hindu pilgrims go to Kailash and other places, Badrinath and other places. And that was the time when the erstwhile founder of Shiv Sena, Bal Thackeray, he stopped the Hajj ship from going for Hajj. So there was a time when the quid pro quo happened and Shiv Sena became a very strong arm of a representative of a Hindu organization. So the Shiv Sena's hatred for Pakistan is completely dependent on and is the outcome and result of Congress's no policy, virtually no policy against Pakistan. So think about it like this. When the Congress people criticize Modi and BJP about Pakistan relationship, they forget that whatever they were trying with Pakistan didn't work at all. So let there be something new. And Mr. Modi has broken ground. And as I said earlier, by doing what he has done, he has now shifted the gameplay and created a responsibility for Pakistan to respond to that. And I'm 100% sure, as Mr. Singh said, that this bodes well for both countries. But the important point is, where I disagree with you, or I would like to give a counter view, is that India will have to be careful. And that's what perhaps Shiv Sena is pointing out to, that Mr. Vajpayee's visit, every leadership visit to Pakistan has ended up in army doing something absolutely shocking with India, whether it was Kargil or whether it was 26/11. And you will see that India will have to use the famous American jargon, trust but verify. And India will have to be cautious because there will be many tidbit elements, all the sidey elements. They may disappear, but they will not breathe their last until the two countries' leadership demonstrate a joint effort. And in that case, Pakistan's role is very important.
So Pakistan's role is definitely important, and Jagdish, your quick addition.
Yeah, I would just add there is, see, all said and done, theoretically Pakistan is a democracy, but the real power in Pakistan vests in the military. Nawaz Sharif is doing what he is doing to gain legitimacy within the minds of the people. This has to be understood by the government of India, and the military dictatorship of the erstwhile time and the military rule now, Mr. Rahel Sharif, the other Sharif whom we talk about, whether he is on board or not. Because if he is not on board, some mischief may happen. And it has happened all the time to dislodge the peace process for another decade or so.
Right. I totally agree with you, and actually I wanted to bring to the attention of the viewers as well as you that I saw a letter. Whether it is authentic or not, I can't verify that, but the letter is from erstwhile Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto to the United States government asking for help to stop supplying F-16 to the Pakistani army that is trying to spoil the relationship between India and Pakistan. And she also mentions in that letter that I wish Rajiv Gandhi were alive today, we would have had hit off better in this matter. So perhaps there is a need, genuine need, but politics is a strange game. To survive, you do all kinds of things. So Pakistani civilian authorities are aware of the fact that Pakistani military controls the foreign policy, and they are a big player in a small country with a tiny economy, nothing to match with India. So they have their own fears, and I think Mr. Modi has done the right thing. He's taken a step, and I think this will, if Pakistan is serious, if Pakistani people are serious, the response to this visit looks very positive from Pakistan's side. If those people are serious, I think there is a possibility. But we will have to trust but verify.
So we definitely find this theory impressive, trust but verify. But on the face of it, we are hungry, we are thirsty for positive news headlines, because all along we are bombarded with negative statements or negative news items. So this came like a fresh breeze on the day of Christmas, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Nawaz Sharif ji in Pakistan, a seed of new hope, potentially a beginning of a new era. What happens, of course, time is going to tell. But right now, the time is telling us to take a short break. But there is much more to be discussed. So stay with us. वेलकम बैक, यू वाचिंग इनसाइट टुनाइट द शो व्यास, और हम बात करने लगे थे भारत और पाकिस्तान की। पर सबसे बड़ी बात है आपकी और आपके लिए, बात महत्वपूर्ण ये है कि बस कुछ दिनों बाद आप बिना कोई टिकट खरीदे प्रवेश कर जाएंगे नए बरस में। नए बरस की तरफ बढ़ते हुए कुछ नई नई बातें हमारे साथ रहें। इस दिशा में एक सकारात्मक कदम जो हमारे सामने आया 25 दिसंबर को, जिसको कई लोग बड़ी आशा और उत्साह भरी नज़रों से देख रहे हैं, वो थी एक अचानक सी यात्रा भारत के प्रधानमंत्री की पाकिस्तान। और भारत और पाकिस्तान के संबंधों में बेहतरी हो, इसको लेके अंदरूनी तौर पर भारत के लोग और पाकिस्तान दोनों देशों के लोग खुश होते हैं, क्योंकि मोहब्बत जो है वो बड़ी कारगर होती है, न केवल खुश करने में बल्कि दोनों देशों के बीच व्यापार भी बढ़ता है, और एक डर का जो वातावरण है और एक अविश्वास जिसको लेकर बॉर्डर पर दोनों देशों के लोगों को बिना किसी कारण जान देनी पड़ती है, उस सब से भी छुटकारा मिलता है। But probably emotionally we start reading too much and we start expecting too much, and there is a long way to go. So Vibhuti ji, there is this sense of impatience in terms of expecting quick positive results, and there is this baggage of negative or apprehensive or critical comments from different political parties who would like to pull this government to their level in terms of जैसे हमने तो पहले ही कहा था. So as you were mentioning about earlier two Congress leaders, Salman Khurshid and this gentleman Manikant Iyer in Pakistan, saying कि अगर आपको दोनों देशों के संबंध बेहतर बनाने हैं तो इनकी सरकार को हटाओ, तो उनको कैसा लगा होगा ये खबर सुन के?
As I mentioned to you earlier on, I think they must be totally ashamed of this, because the Pakistani government, the Prime Minister level, accorded the reception to Mr. Modi. But having said that, and I think I would be a very cautious person in terms of handling the Pakistan government, in terms of their response to India. But what I do know, and I can say that I have been told by this, by some of my Pakistani friends, that आप हिंदू लोग, आप इंडियन लोग बड़े शरीफ लोग हो, शांति के लिए आप कुछ भी करेंगे, और हमें तो शांति चाहिए नहीं, हम तो आपके यहाँ नासूर बन के चुभना चाहते हैं. See, this is the mindset. The school syllabus in Pakistan is children are taught that India is the enemy. So unless and until a substantive change begins to happen, I would still be very cautious in dealing with Pakistan, regardless of the hoopla, the expectation, the desire, the intent. That has to be verified. At the moment, Pakistan's need is huge. Pakistan recognizes that India has moved far beyond in terms of its economic and political might around the world. The whole world recognizes it. Talking about the net advantage of Mr. Modi's visit, from United States to Russia to France to Japan, everybody has supported India's entry into Security Council of United Nations, except perhaps China. But nobody opposes it. This is a mustering of the support. So Pakistan knows that they have lost India and they can never catch up with India, because they are a country, $200 billion economy. We are $1 trillion and going to be a couple more trillions added very soon if we are able to achieve the growth agenda that Prime Minister Modi has set, and for which India has a great hunger, a great need, and the world looks at India as the only element in BRICS that is still standing. So that said, I would remain very cautious. I would deal with Pakistan with verifying every fact. I would also make sure that you make it mandatory for Pakistan to control the terrorism element, which is the only factor that can hurt India on its economic path. So that is something I would say: exercise caution, trust, verify, and verify.
So, if we start with too much emphasis on verifying, that takes away the ability to build trust. So there is a very fine line that one cautiously needs to walk through. And before we continue, I want to share this clip from Afghanistan, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed Afghani Parliament, and India has helped Afghanistan in building the building for their parliament, and as a gesture, a block in that building of Afghan parliament has been named Atal Block in the name of India's leader, previous Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. Let us take a look at Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Afghanistan.
We could not have chosen a more special day than the birthday of one of the tallest leaders of our time, former Prime Minister and Bharat Ratna, Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. "11 years ago, he dreamed of this project in partnership with Karzai Sahab. And we are deeply touched that you have chosen the name one wing in this building, the Atal Block. This Parliament House brings together our two nations through the vision of our leaders, the labor of our people, and the stones of our lands. And the Atal Block unites us in spirit, because Atal means hero in Pashto, and in Hindi it means to be formed. It captures the spirit of Afghanistan and of our friendship.
Spirit of Afghanistan and friendship captured in the word Atal, so says Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and continuing with the influence of this spirit, he had his breakfast in Afghanistan, had his lunch in Lahore, and of course his dinner was in Delhi. So this was an interesting day for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Similar description for an Indian leader, ideally this is the way it should be, was once expressed by our previous Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. So it is interesting, the vision continues to be realized by India, whether the leader comes from this party or that party. There is a sense of continuity, as I would say, in spite of all the differences of party politics. Let me take a call. Hello, ITV Live.
Yes.
Namaste.
Hello?
Haji, how are you, sir?
Yes.
So how do you view this new chapter of
Yes.
diplomacy?
Thank you very much.
आप टीवी का वॉल्यूम कम कर दें.
This is Prabhakar from New York.
जी.
And thank you very much. Haji. One thing we must agree with your panelists who said that trust but verify.
टीवी का वॉल्यूम कम हुआ नहीं.
Another thing,
Yeah.
it reminds me of the visit of Chow En Lai to India with Nehru, when he said, Hindi chini bhai bhai, Hindi chini bhai bhai, and we believed in China, and the next result was the war of 62, and Nehru unfortunately died of heart attack because of that. And now when we say Pakistan, we should say West Pakistan, because East Pakistan is out. And then Pakistan, that West Pakistan is not the secular democracy. That is a fundamental difference between Indian democracy and what is so-called Pakistani democracy. So unless the Pakistani leaders agree to have a secular democracy, I don't think there will be, fortunately or unfortunately, progress in the relations.
So we got your views, sir. Appreciate your call. Yeah, thank you very much. So I think there are different apprehensions, and what point he made, that looks like impossible to happen, because the very foundation of Pakistan is based as a Muslim nation. So that would probably
well,
not
everybody has his or her own view of thought, and that is what it is. लेकिन एक चीज़ यहाँ मैं कहना चाहूँगा कि डेमोक्रेसी में सरकार जनता की होती है और जनता के लिए होती है. तो जनता के लिए पीस, अगेन दो वर्ड्स हमको मिलता है सुनने को, पीस और प्रोस्पेरिटी. Prosperity of the people in democracy cannot come without peace, and peace again cannot come if you have warmongers sitting around with you. So in the context of India, when you have a neighbor called Pakistan, which is controlled by the military and which survives on anti-India feelings, that is what primarily their fundamental foreign policy is based on. And even their domestic policy is shouting against India, and they go in for the elections for that. So unless Make in India, that main theme of Modi ji when he came to power, Make in India would not be successful if investment does not come. And investment again would not come if peace is not in the subcontinent, because no investor would like to invest in a zone of war. And then again, the country has to think, the government of the country has to think that ultimately prosperity is for the people. So with war you cannot have prosperity for the people. So peace has to be established, and this perhaps Modi ji came to realize after 18 months that it is primarily required that the surrounding countries breathe the air of peace. And from in spite of his approach of calling all the South Asian SAARC leaders for his swearing-in ceremony, nothing much was attained per se on paper. He took this bold step. He has gone in Pakistan. Now let us see how it comes up. Because we had made overtures in, say, for example, Nepal. The issue of Nepal, the relationship with Nepal has not bore any fruit as such. Bangladesh, yes, we have made some endeavors. But again, it has to be seen, Pakistan being the major country, we need to see how it performs. And yes, I would agree with what Bibhuti ji has said, trust but verify.
So on that cautious note, and yet I somehow cannot let go of a sense of optimism and hope which this visit has kindled again. But looking at the limited time that we have, and considering that this is the last Monday of 2015 with us, quickly, if both of you were to suggest New Year resolutions to some of the Indian leaders, and starting with one Congress leader who has gone on vacation to Europe and has informed Indian people through his tweet, conveyed his greetings, Happy New Year. So if you were to suggest Vibhuti ji a New Year resolution to Rahul Gandhi, what would be your take on that?
I mean, Rahul Gandhi is free to go wherever he wants to go on his vacation. I don't take any issue out of that he has gone to Europe. People have criticized him, unfortunately, that he should have been in India celebrating the New Year. But let him go. He's an unmarried man, perhaps a very eligible bachelor. He has girlfriends, fiancés, I don't know, whatever. Yeah. So my message to Rahul Gandhi would be, whenever you speak, think before you talk. That might help you more than what you do otherwise. Your experience is important for you. Congress party is important for the country because India needs a good opposition. India doesn't need a fragmented opposition.
So
lead on.
I'll cut you on that. I'm sorry. So I'll convey this again to Rahulji. If you are watching, he wants you to think before you speak. Yeah. Anything you would like to convey to him?
opposition not for the sake of opposition but constructive opposition,
Wonderful.
because India needs the Congress, and for all practical purposes it would say the history of India is the history of Congress.
Wonderful. Let me take a few calls. Hello, ITV Live. Hello, ITV Live.
Hello.
हाँ जी, नमस्ते.
Yeah, namaste ji. I'm watching the talk tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to hi, namaste ji. To talk regarding the clipping of Tiwari's talk with you,
Yes.
former Congress minister. He was telling Modi ji is not synonymous with India. Probably he forgot in my high school college days there was a talk, India is Indira and Indira is India.
Correct. So you were reminded of that.
Yeah, how
D.
they
K.
can
Barua.
turn around and say Modi is not synonymous, and they should, in retrospective effect, correct those.
Very true.
Second thing, he was telling Indian democracy has become very natural. After 68 years, recently, within the last 18 months, it has become natural. We appreciate it.
So, what would be your advice to Rahul Gandhi for 2016?
Oh, think before you talk. Think twice before you utter a word.
Okay. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Appreciate your
Yeah, good night and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Thank you. Hello, ITV Live.
हाँ जी, अशोक जी, मेरा नाम मंसूर सदीकी है, मैं ओरिजिनली पाकिस्तान से हूँ।
सदीकी साहब, स्वागत है आपका.
हाँ जी, मैं तकरीबन 40 साल हो गए अमेरिका में हूँ, लेकिन सबसे पहले तो मैं आपको भी मुबारकबाद देता हूँ, सबको मुबारकबाद देता हूँ। मोदी जी ने जो इकदाम किया है, बहुत अच्छा इकदाम किया है। उन्होंने लाहौर जाके जितने भी पाकिस्तानी मुसलमान जो कहते थे आज तक के मोदी जी अगेंस्ट इस्लाम या पाकिस्तान, उन्होंने उन सब के मुंह बंद कर दिए।
जी.
तो ये बहुत अच्छा इकदाम है, मैं आप सबको मुबारकबाद देता हूँ, और इसके इंशाल्लाह जो है ना बहुत अच्छे नताइज आगे आएंगे। अब तक जितने मेरी पाकिस्तानियों से बात हुई है, ये पाकिस्तानी पार्टियों में मेरी बात होती है,
जी.
सब इस इकदाम को जो है अप्रिशिएट कर रहे हैं, और इसमें क्रेडिट जो है मोदी जी को ही जाता है। तो वी रियली अप्रिशिएट एंड इज गुड स्टेप, और इसके आगे अच्छे नताइज ही अच्छे साबित होंगे।
सिद्दीकी साहब, आपको थोड़ी सी देर मेरे साथ रुकने की गुजारिश करते हुए, आपने क्रेडिट मोदी जी को दिया, मैं क्रेडिट काफ़ी नवाज शरीफ साहब को भी जाता है, क्योंकि ये दोनों की अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, और जब दोनों लीडर्स को आप इस तरह के इत्मीनान वाले माहौल में बातचीत करते देखते हैं, तो उसका आवाम पर भी मुझे लगता है अच्छा असर पड़ता है। इन जनरल, जैसे हमारे पैनलिस्ट कह रहे थे कि वेरीफाई, ट्रस्ट बट वेरीफाई, आपको क्या लगता है पाकिस्तान का मूड बदला है? जैसे एक ऐसा इंप्रेशन रहता रहा है कि एंटी इंडिया सेंटिमेंट पॉलिटिक्स को रूल करता है पाकिस्तान में, सही गलत पर इस तरह का इंप्रेशन है। आप इस बारे में कुछ?
मेरा ख्याल है कि पाकिस्तानियों का, जो अमेरिका में पाकिस्तानी हैं, जो जितनों की मेरे से पाकिस्तान में बात हुई है, बहुत मूड बदला है।
अच्छा,
बहुत मूड बदला है। लोगों के जो पहले ख्यालात थे वो बहुत बदले हैं, और जो प्रोपेगेंडा मोदी जी के खिलाफ हो रहा था कि वो एंटी इस्लाम है और एंटी पाकिस्तान है, वो काफी हद तक चेंज हुआ है।
बिल्कुल सही, बिल्कुल सही। और जैसे हमारे विभूति जी ने कहा, उन्होंने वहाँ जाके माता जी के, नवाज शरीफ जी के माता जी के पाँव छुए वगैरह, ये छोटी छोटी बातें हैं जो तहजीब से जुड़ी रहती हैं, वो भी मुझे लगता है उनके कुछ सिंबॉलिक इफेक्ट्स पॉजिटिव होते हैं।
अब देखें, जब मोदी जी पहुंचे हैं लाहौर पे, तो अगर आप इस वक्त भी कैमरे में देखें तो मोदी जी ने जो है ना नवाज शरीफ को हाथ मिलाने के बाद अपनी तरफ खींचा है।
अच्छा,
अपनी तरफ खींच के उन्होंने गले से लगाया है
जी।
तो ये भी आप अगर वीडियो में देखें
जी,
तो इससे लगता है कि मतलब है दिस इज अ वेरी गुड रिलेशन। ऐसे ही है जैसे पहले हमारे मुल्कों में होता था ना, इफ यू लाइक समबॉडी यू जस्ट गो एंड नॉक हिज डोर, you don't have to ask to come invitation.
Absolutely.
You don't have to wait for invitation, you just go and ring the bell.
तो सिद्दीकी साहब, मैं आ रहा हूँ आपके यहाँ।
थैंक यू वेरी मच। मैं आपका प्रोग्राम देखता हूँ, और मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ कि इससे बहुत से पाकिस्तानियों के यहाँ अमेरिका में खास तौर पे बहुत से लोगों के माइंड जो है ना बहुत चेंज हुए हैं।
जी जी
मोदी जी के बारे में.
Thank you. Good to know that.
Appreciate your call, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year. Bye. Hello, ITV Live. Hello. ये तो साइलेंस बिफोर स्पीक राहुल जी के लिए था, आपके लिए नहीं है. But so a little bit of time that we have, I want to move to another leader with both of you, and that gentleman who is now Chief Minister of New Delhi has come up with an innovative idea of odd even car numbers to curb environment pollution. But he is creating a lot of pollution in terms of the discourse that is happening. He came up with the adjective of coward and psychopath for Modi ji, who is being appreciated everywhere. And now he today tweeted that BJP is begging me to apologize, but I'm not going to oblige. Now मुझे ऐसे याद आया कि कुछ लोग ऐसे होते थे जो ऐसी बातें करते थे कि आप उससे प्रोवोक हो जाओ और आप कुछ करो. सो क्योंकि टाइम बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं, सो आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट बहुत उनके बारे में विश्लेषण नहीं करें. बट इफ इन 2016 यू वर टू सॉर्ट ऑफ सिट विद हिम कि यार आप ये न्यू ईयर रेजोल्यूशन बनाओ, तो व्हाट वुड बी योर एडवाइस?
I have two things to say here. One is I will take some part of the time given to talk about, our leader, Arvind Kejriwal. I will wish all the viewers of this program a very happy new year, a very prosperous new year. Thank you for your support by watching our program here. So thank you very much. But the only suggestion I'll give to Arvind Kejriwal, that if you want to remove pollution from Delhi, quit and go home. That's my advice to him.
Okay, he's not going to oblige you on that. Jagdish, now going slightly sincerely, what might be your advice for him to make New Year resolution?
मैं तो उनसे यही कहूँगा कि दिल्ली की जनता ने आपको 67 सीट दिल्ली की विधानसभा में चुनकर दिया है. थोड़ी उसकी इज्जत रखें और सुधर जाएं. बहुत हो चुका. नाटक नौटंकी के लिए बहुत सारे अलग प्लेटफॉर्म हैं. राजनीतिक प्लेटफॉर्म पर नौटंकी नहीं होनी चाहिए.
तो ये बहुत ही अच्छी बात है कि अगर आप राजनीति के द्वारा जनता की सेवा करें तो राजनीति के द्वारा करें, और अगर आप फिल्मों में मनोरंजन के द्वारा कर रहे हैं तो मनोरंजन के द्वारा करें. वो करते रहें, और मनोरंजन के स्थान पर आप अगर ऐसे वक्तव्य देने लग जाए जो जनता के बीच में एक अलग प्रकार के विवाद को जन्म दे दें, तो शायद उससे बचना सबके लिए कल्याणकारी हो सकता है. क्योंकि 2015 में हमने बहुत सारी बहस असहिष्णुता, इंटॉलरेंस को लेकर भी सुनी है, और उतना ज़्यादा उन्होंने फुटेज टेलीविजन का खाया, इतनी ज़्यादा अखबारों के पन्ने छपे हैं इंटॉलरेंस की बहस को लेकर, जो बचते तो कई और अच्छे काम में आ सकते थे. तो हमारी ऐसी दुआएं हैं कि आप जब नए बरस की तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं तो आपके साथ जो सकारात्मक ऊर्जा है वो और अधिक तीव्र हो और अधिक इंटेंस हो हम सब के लिए. एंड कहीं ना कहीं हमारे अंदर वो एक सपना देखने वाला शिशु जिंदा रहता है जो ये मानता है कि हम दुनिया को बेहतर बना सकते हैं, जो ये मानता है कि हम दुनिया में शांति और अमन कायम कर सकते हैं. और वो हमारे अंदर का शिशु नए बरस में जागे और सक्रिय रहे. ऐसी दुआओं के साथ में जगजीत सिंह जी, आप हमारे स्टूडियो में बता और नई दाढ़ी लेकर आए हैं. आपको नए बरस में नए लुक की बधाई के साथ साथ विभूति जी आपका भी हमारे साथ बने रहने के लिए बहुत बहुत आभार, धन्यवाद. आप सबसे होती है कल फिर मुलाकात. इजाजत दें. नमस्कार.